Hello. I should update that. Just wait in a few secs. I don't know why, I feel like that's like the thing to do. Alright, maybe let's go for it. So, what am I up to today? Things I did yesterday. I had these and these. I think today I want to do like testing, I think. Before, like basically like hooks. Alright, before and after hooks. And then maybe some kind of like more global configs. Maybe I care about these things. Maybe I want to do that. I feel like is my audio coming out wrong? Yeah, I feel like that should be better. I think my audio is coming out through the speaker. Now it seems like it's in my headphones. Alright. Yeah, maybe like types. For this, I mean, I'm getting at like in RSpec, you can do like, they have like different types of spec. It's kind of cool, but like there's different types, right? You can do like, it like configures some more helpful stuff. But it has like two modes. One will do this sort of like infer spec type from file location, but it also has this more explicit like type config. Yeah, we can figure out the best way to do it. But the first thing I was going to do with this is like codebase expects depends on that. And it's no longer in like a vendor directory in this repo. Cool. Alright. But I think before and after hooks are pretty doable. Let's see. So here. Alright. This was fun. I forgot how fun this was. Yeah, okay. So, let's try it before, huh? Maybe it's time for some stuff in here. Eh, I don't know. I feel like whatever. We'll create new files when it makes sense. We don't have that many lines of code here. So let's work on before each. It seems like a good start point. definitely be like this. Okay, so I think what we want to do is, I think we need to create like a spec type. Like a spec, I don't know, context, scope. Let's call it like a spec scope. It's gonna have a name, and it's gonna have some before eaches. Yeah. I don't know, let's call it hooks. Yeah. Like start there, right? Okay, so now description, instead of being initialized to name, gets a spec scope of, oh, this is gonna have to be a constant to be a string literal, so that's no good. Oh, this should be called like scope, right? And here we want to say spec scope name gets name. And we still can't, we need these to, yeah, we're going to do a lot of copying of the spec scope, aren't we? But that seems fine. Okay, so extend spec scope. I think just like do a copy. I wonder, like I can't remember, I guess I'll learn a lot about array semantics here. Like if I do like another spec scope gets this one. So this is like a copy operation in this language, which still takes me a while to wrap my head around. Does this get copied? I don't know. I bet it just gets like the, we'll find out. My intuition is that this would still be like a reference type, so this would still have like a, but it would have like a count and a pointer to this array. But we'll see. But since these are all like append only, that's kind of fine. Maybe that's all right. You know, if the count is yeah, we're just no deletes, which makes sense. Which makes sense. I wonder if these like would clobber each other. I was wondering, do we even need, we have like the stack. Do we need to like mutate arrays? I guess we could build these up like linked list feeling things, yeah? Like, it seems natural that we like smush the names together. Maybe a linked list, maybe like explicitly making this a linked list makes more sense. Yeah? Maybe this helps. Maybe this makes things a little bit better. Because we do a lot of like S printing inside of these. Which maybe we don't need. Maybe we don't need. Maybe it feels better to have these modeled as little linked list layers rather than do the flattening up front. What kind of decision am I making here? This trade-off is about spec running performance quartic switch. Who cares? I shouldn't really care about that right now. Okay, let's just go for it. So we're gonna have some before each hooks and a parent. Okay, let's go for spec scope full like description. And yeah, let's do it the obvious recursive way, huh? So, so like, let's say like parent description. Oh man, can I use using? I've been waiting for this. description is a string. If parent description gets like spaces to separate them. Uh-oh, now I'm suddenly thinking, never mind. Okay, so return sprint of and name. Yeah, okay, this makes sense to me. Great. Okay, so I don't think this I want, that I want. Great. Incidental body, we're going to continue through. This, we're going to say spec scope gets spec scope, which is going to reach out. No. Right, so I'm going to grab the parent that way. I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to say your name gets description suffix, and your parent gets parent spec scope. Maybe this is just going to be called parent. I don't need that anymore. And then same here, we're going to say parent. And then these. Maybe I like wrap those up soon. I think I'm about to wrap those up soon. Okay. And then here, I no longer have description, but I do have that. And I can go, oops, I can go. I think I want like a pointer to backtick spec scope. That sounds weird. Alright, let's see what happens. Wrong one. Where did that colon come from? Yeah, I was worried about that. Okay, let's try. Let's try just like wrapping these in a like this. Give them their own scope, right? So pull this out, and then here we'll define some new binding. Since on scope, people can be happy. There's room for everybody. What? What did this used to be? Oh, a backtick. Cool. Yeah, because we got to reach out to and including context. This makes sense still. I feel good about this still. Even though I do think I am doing some questionable things. Okay, what's happening here? Here, description. Where do I still reference that? Yes. Yep. Okay, great. Spec scope description on pointer to backtick spec scope. Hey, the tests pass. Okay, great. So I have this now, and Alright, what do we want to do here? So, one thing that I was like thinking about for a second is that this like really, oops, seems like it's maybe like a boring use case of it, but it's definitely like I might need to like it might be time for like a for expansion, yeah? I could do a for expansion, right? How does that work? Alright, maybe I should give a little bit more context first about what I'm talking about here. So for this before each hooks, what I'm thinking is basically, okay, this is pretty simple, but here I'm going to grab, basically this takes a code, and I want to say backtick scope dot, I want to like array add to spec scope dot for each hooks. Let's call this codes. This code. I think that's it for here. And then in the it, before I insert internal body, I want to do like for before each codes on, I think this is the syntax. Back on this specs on whatever this one. I want to do something like this, where I say for each of the before each codes of the spec code, insert that code. Alright. I don't think there's anyone in the chat, but I need to take a bio break. I'll be right back. Hello. Who's here? Anybody join while I was in the bathroom? Nope. Alright. That makes sense. Okay, let's figure this out. Our tests are green and we're trying to do... That's right. This, right? We want to say for each of the before eaches, when we're inside of an it, insert it. That sounds cool. And for before all, man, I figure we can just execute those immediately. Like you declare before all, we just run it. That's easy. Or like maybe we don't even need a before all for that, you know? Okay, but let's see about for expansion. I think I just need like an example, yeah? Yeah, so I think I define... Yeah. I need 4 flags. And then... What does this care about with, baking? Oh, I see. Right. Because this does this does like an extra target value thing. Okay, I think this is like useful enough. Like I think this is the syntax that we care about. Alright, so this for expansion that we want to define is going to be for before each codes. And we take scope. We take a body, and we take a flags, or a macro. Great. And then, how do we want to do this? I guess we're a while loop. Yeah. And we say, like, while current spec scope is not null, we're going to say for current spec scope dot before each codes insert body, or is it insert internal? Yeah, insert like this, and then remove, break, continue. Yeah. Can't remove them. Break is normal. Continue equals just like return. Or wait, no, break just equals return, but continue is normal. I wonder if there's like a break, if like this gets a name. I don't know. Like it'd be cool if break here, I could say like break while loop. But I don't think that exists. So I'm going to just say that. I think I don't need a semicolon. Insert the body. And then I want to say current spec scope gets current spec scope dot parent. Yeah, that seems like it'll work, right? Okay. Let's see how it goes. There's no reverse order. Do we mess around with that here? Assert flags equals 0. I like that. Great. That seems like overkill, but I think we're good. I think we've covered our bases at least. Okay, so before each codes. So then here, what do you even call it? Yeah, maybe this is done, right? Yeah? Yeah, let's just give it a shot, huh? So string spec, Let me just like sneak in it before each. I'll just like print before each. Yeah, just like see what happens. Syntax error in return. Yeah, I should have known. Okay. Is that space the problem? No, that seems fine. I don't know. Nope, that's no good. I'll just forget about that for now, but maybe I'll add a to-do for myself. What? How'd that happen? Ooh. Isn't it a code? Did I forget to set it? I did. I did. Do I have to set it index this way too? Probably. Yep. Oops. It is shadowed. I should have known. What? How does that not create a problem? What am I shadowing here? Variable it is used here, but shadow later in same block, so it is being used before declared. Alright, whatever. Maybe I'll just call this before each code. Now what? What have we got? What have we got? Insert internal and non-constant. How did that happen? For that. Well, that sucks. I mean, that makes sense. I understand how we got here. Alright, so what can we do? For one thing, I think this dynamic array is tricky. Let's like try something here. So I think that making this a dynamic resizable array makes this hard. But if this is like a linked list, can that be constant? Can that be constant enough? I doubt it, but man, maybe. Maybe. And like certainly all this is constant. It's just code here, you know? So like how much can we bake? Alright, so if parent and parent description, what is it called? Name is not an empty string. Then do that. It's hot in here. I do find it kind of astonishing the things which are like trivial to express in this language versus the things which are suddenly impossible. For example, like that before each is suddenly like just unattainable is surprising. Alright, maybe this linked list thing is like a pretty bad idea. But we can still benefit from the stack by just like having like an extend scope situation. I think this could work, right? So like spec scope extend is gonna be I'll take a spec scope and it'll take like some things that you might extend about it, I guess, right? So like let's say I don't know, name before each. I think we're gonna get rid of the parent. We're gonna flatten this out. I think this seems like more in line with the nature of the language anyway. Okay, but now this is gonna be polymorphic on for each code's count. So we can lock it down more. Maybe I'll just call this like name string. And this is going to take a baked spec scope and it's going to return a spec scope the same kind, right? This won't change. We're just going to extend the name slightly. This seems like it'll work. Alright, so I think we're going to have to copy over all the codes, and I think that that's fine. Like that. Okay, so we want to use name suffix. I think we're done. And just like that, we'll say it's got to be known at compile time. Yeah, yeah, this seems manageable. I'm just gonna call this spec scope because we don't really care. I think we care that the type stays identical in terms of how it's polymorphed. Add before each. Okay, and the type of this now is a pointer to a baked T with the new before each. This also has to be baked. And it's going to return a spec scope with before each code's count as T plus 1. That's ugly. Let's see what happens. And we're just going to we're going to do the copy. I don't know if we can do like just like a regular old copy. Let me grab this. Do that. Result.name is going to get name. Result.before each codes. It's like 4 before each codes. Result.before each codes at index gets it. And then result.before each codes of, what do I care about? Of this, like the last one gets before each code. Return result. I feel like this is all constant. Yeah, this all feels like known at compile time. Okay. We'll see. We'll see if this is like allowed. Okay. So now we don't need this anymore, and we don't need this anymore, because those don't work. So here on describe, we'll say this, and before each code's count is 0. And maybe can I like default this? I think I can. So I bet I just like leave that unspecified. Just give it a name. It's gonna have an empty list. That's excellent. We remap describe, and then we continue. And then from here on out, though, I think what we want to do is to say like spec scope. Like the backtick spec scope is gonna get. In this case, we have like a new spec scope extend. In this case, we just have a new name. Yeah. Okay. So we'll pass in spec scope, and we'll pass in description suffix, and then that's it. Oh, and I guess this wants to be a pointer based on how I wrote it. That might be a bad idea. We might want to do just like passing by reference through there. That seems fine. And then here we kind of want to do the same. You want to say, oh wait, no. This should not have been backticked. And that should have been. Okay, and then here we want to say similarly for an it, we want to do the same thing. That's all. But we want to do this. Yep, that sounds about right. Okay. And then the last one, where do we add before each? And here. Let's like sneak this up here so that they're next to each other for a bit. I want to do. Dang! Didn't see this one coming. What a twist. I don't think this is syntax that I could possibly write. I guess what I was hoping to do here in a before each in this context is to like change what this is. But like I don't think you can just like shadow in a macro like this a past declaration. I mean like I could try, but there's no way. like create a whole new thing called backtick spec scope, which is gonna I'm just gonna shadow currently existing backtick spec scope. Like, this seems unlikely. Did not think this through. Yeah, it seems unlikely. I doubt this works. Let's see what the compiler has to say. Oh, I guess you can't have just like equals 0. Huh. Would figure that would work. Why is that the problem? Let's get rid of the usings, maybe? I don't know. Seems like I can't think of a reason why that would be the issue, but like, let's go for it. Attempting to use a value from an outer stack frame. Closures are not supported. Right, okay, but this is why this needs to be constant. Right, not a literal because it's passed by pointer. So let's like get rid of the pointer business. There's still no way that this works, right? Isn't that a bakeable literal? Shouldn't that be a bakeable literal? It's just a struct. It's the code. The code's like the most bakeable thing of all. It's like by default, it's baked. Huh. Well. Dang. Alright, so what can we do here instead? There aren't like excellent options here. Let me think for a sec. So, I do love the way that like this kind of syntax affords itself well to having like multiple different before eaches that are like decoupled and describe nicely the thing that they're doing. But it's, I mean, it's not like the only way, right? Like it's easy to imagine, I don't know. How else could we do this? So this is just trying to be like cutesy with macros and scopes and business like that. I think I need to be sitting for this. I think this is like sit down time. But it's like really plausible. Alright, so alternative syntaxes that we might go with. Maybe I'll grab the first bit too. Okay, so in this context, oh, I think it might be dog time. 1 sec. All right. Charlie's here. So, okay, alternative syntax that we might go with. I was hoping that we'd have this, which is this sort of like mutative thing. Maybe that seems like a bad idea. And like there are ways that we surely could get here, but man, it probably means like scanning the compiler get nodes. It just seems like a mistake to like I don't know. The only ways that I can imagine us getting to allowing this sort of mutative sort of like appending before eaches in a way that feels real descriptive but looks kind of funny is like yeah, like messing with like I think we would have to like inspect that code object that gets passed in and like scan for before each statements that begin with a before each call. And I'm sure there are edge cases there that we'd miss. And we need to make sure to not catch like a before each inside of a nested describe as we get deeper in. We just want to catch the ones at this level because we like the level that scoping is like sort of the point. Um, yeah. So that's a bit tricky. I'm trying to think. So RSpec also has like an around each and like around all concept. And I wonder if that makes our life easier, because like in the context of around, like what this would do is capture like the rest of this code in and around effectively. But man, that also sounds like playing with compiler get nodes, right? That sounds like building some wild post-processing, like pre-processing mess with the parsed AST and transform the code into a different thing than what it is mess. Which, well, it does sound like a fun exercise. Seems like a terrible way to write code. I just dripped some water on my keyboard. Sounds like really a terrible way to write any code at all, right? And it means that like the code's gonna be really confusing. There's like no reason to do it. Let me get to like a safe spot and just mash on the keys. Okay, I think it's fine. So I guess like it seems like a terrible idea to do this in any of the ways that I can think to do it. So other options. All right, Charlie, I get it. I get it. You're very cute. You're happy to be here, but I need to use my hands. So other options. I think it's like I don't know. Like so this is bad. We could do like all right, so the first thing, let's like go for like a literal. So we have this like ideal syntax or RSpec like syntax, which like is like I think safely like low overhead, easy comprehensibility. Life is good. Okay, let's do like if RSpec only had around helpers. Let me just like copy this. So if we had something like this, this gets very Christmas tree feeling. We could just like do the transformation that I was thinking about on our own. And so we'll have this around each. And it will open up a code. Or like what? Yuck. Man, this is bad. I hate this already. Okay. And then we grab all of these. Oops. This is just scratch. I need to break my save after every keystroke habit. Okay, and then what am I thinking here? Is like we just... Okay, you want to get down? You can get down. Go ahead. Yeah. Whew. Okay, is that we do this transformation again? Oh, this makes me very sad. I think it is probably also like less. Let's go like children maybe. That sounds like a nice thing to call it, right? Maybe like backtick it seems conventional. Alright, so we do that, and again, that's like a comma, and then here we have another code, and then we grab all this, and like, sneak this inside this code, and now I need that, and that, okay, and then we're gonna do that one more time? So, like, I think this is already, I'm just gonna, for completeness, this seems worthwhile. I'm like finish out this exercise, see how bad it really is in different cases. Alright, so we have this code, and then we have an insert it, and another code, which is the actual body, which is these. Alright, and that's closed, and that's closed, and that's closed. Alright, this is like a huge bummer, but I mean, I guess. Like that's kind of cute. Okay, I don't love that API though. So what else we got is declare all before each hooks up front. So one thing that does strike me as like a maybe obvious answer here is like if we imagine that the core problem is that we don't, like when we hit this describe, we open up a context and we don't know what all of these before eaches are yet until they've all been run. And it's hard to like calm down the compiler. Like it's cool, we're only ever running all of this statically, so like you can let us mutate a little bit, and by the time we're consuming any of it, it's fine. It'll all be constants and they'll all be in the right spots. Like given that that's the problem, like maybe like a middle ground here is we can say like we have these 3 before each hooks that we want to register, and as an engineer, I know that right now. So instead of building it just like this, let me grab this example because it's like closer to the end state that I'm going to describe. Right, we can say, alright, we'll like describe, and we'll have some, like, has prefix. Okay, we're gonna pass in, like, a, I don't know if an array literal is the right choice here, but let's try. And we'll just, like, pass in, like, 3 before blocks. Like this. Which looks, I mean, bad, but like better than what we had before, maybe? I mean, maybe this is like attainable, and this certainly feels better than this. This is very disappointing. Okay. And then is this like actually attainable? Do we gain anything by breaking them up into an array this time? Like, I wonder, like, if you had multiple and this is just a feature of describe, maybe it's fine. Maybe this is fine. I also wonder, like, it'd be cool if, like this, like, terse syntax worked. Right, let's say that I have like a very simple thing I want to test here. So like this is like an easy, this like code, whatever. Like this is like a happy, easy describe. And it'd be cool if I didn't have to specify like before each codes as like an empty array or something. Maybe, oh, so okay, let's like start here and say like, look, if you want to compose multiple bits of before each behavior, call some functions, right? Call some procedures. There's like better ways to express that than passing in an array of mutative nonsense here. All right, so let's like simplify this now. So you get one before each. If you want to compose these in interesting ways, like you could easily like nest things within each other. That's cool. But okay, the problem that I'm getting at here is that if describe has like multiple optional and like maybe even like this style of like optional arguments, I think it gets hard to say that like if you call it with just a single code, that code is associated with the it. Actually, I think that's pretty easy. Let's do it. So it is going to be, let's go for it. So I'm going to just like dump. Okay, so let's like assume that we need to maintain the existing API. And we'll say that is the syntax that we're going with. Oops. Why am I deleting stuff from the sketchpad? Okay, so I was messing with has prefix, and what I want to say is that. Or maybe I'll just replace the beginning part. That. We're not going to do after each yet. And then I'm going to say it equals code of all this stuff. I think using it again seems like it might be a very bad idea, but alright, this seems like plausibly like it's syntax. Whoops, got rid of my whole scratch pad. Oh well. Okay, and now here in JSpec base, getting rid of this. Yeah, okay, so now when we're extending a scope, we always have a scope, we always have a name suffix, and then we might have a new before each codes. Is like null a valid code to pass in here? I don't know. Let's call it just like a sentinel value here and be like empty code sentinel. Just give it like an empty code. Alright, so now we have a code. I don't know, we could always just say, yeah, this seems cool, because this is going to be a spec scope of something, let's just call it T. We're going to return a spec scope of before each code's count is equal to T dot before each code's count plus 1. Okay, and then I'm just going to grab this. Is there any chance that this works? Alright, so here at the root level describe and at the nested, we're going to take in some stuff. We're going to call that it, and we're going to call the other one before each gets a code as well, and it'll be empty code sentinel. I think I spelled sentinel wrong. How do you spell sentinel? 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 I think it's with an E. That looks more like English to me. Okay. And we're gonna pass the same. This is now also it. No, it's a terrible idea because it's a constant. We'll leave it as body. At least for now. Let's like blow out these arguments a little, make it easier to read. Alright. Same thing here. Okay, and then spec scope extend always takes a scope before each code a name suffix. I think the name wants to come first. Alright, so extend it with the description suffix, and before each And we'll do the same thing here. And then in the it case, we don't have it before each, so we'll just call it empty code sentinel. Maybe just call this empty code. It can't hurt. Why even call it a sentinel? Why get clever? Oops. Alright. Okay. And then we're going to... Yes, yes, yes. Alright, does this run? What are the problems with this? I'm sure I got some stuff tremendously wrong. Strings, line 21 is not code. Oh, it's like a... extra curly brace on line 67. Alright, let's make sure that I have any sense of what I'm doing here. Oh, and this wants to be body. Okay, so this describe has this before each, and then this body ends here, the describe ends there, and this is at the wrong level of abstraction. Okay, and then how did I get so far off from... Is that right? Wait, what? Oh, I see. Okay, so this is ending the body. This is ending before each. We're now at the end of describe. I think this is meant to work now. Cool. A value bake, but it's not bakeable. Still? Where am I? Line 41. Why isn't this bakeable? Any double colons everywhere? Did I bake the name? And that maybe? This never works. Insert internal with this spec scope and this describe. Maybe in this one case I won't specify that because I'll use the default of 1. Even though this before each is an empty code, life is pretty good. Okay. This should work, right? What else do I call this? Here. Let's make this a constant too. Let's make everything constant. I don't know, this seems like it should be fine. Struct requires parameters. I guess you can't have default parameters this way? That's surprising. I'll just give it a 1. They gotta be named. What in here is not constant? Is it like backtick spec scope? Line 42. Isn't this? This is constant. What is non-constant about this? That's baked. That's baked. That's certainly constant. these things are all constant. I don't know. Does this need more? Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Which part is non-constant here? Like this? Maybe we gotta do like a one of these. This sure seems like a lot of code to write for something silly. But let's see, let's see. Result.name is going to equal this. And do this business on it. Return result. Run this whole block. It returns a spec scope of the appropriate type. I think maybe I can like get rid of those. Missing a semicolon. Test failed. Declaration claims to be constant, but something is non-constant in here. Where am I? Line 44 now? How? What about this is non-constant? I'm just gonna add some login. Wait, did it not print this? Shouldn't that have been printed? I guess it couldn't even make it that far. Is constant spec scope true? Okay. I don't know. What else might it be? Description suffix before each. Those still aren't getting printed though. I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna break it intentionally for a sec right now and say spec scope is just gonna get like this. We're gonna insert internal. We're gonna just like see what happens here. Yeah, all of these things are constant. What about the backticked version? Spec scope. Yeah, everything here is constant. What? Okay. Can I pipe these into a run? They're all constant enough that I would imagine I could, right? Maybe that gets rid of one of the other runs I need somewhere. Ooh. Alright. Okay. Let's see. To run sprint on line 18 in here. That's promising. We made progress. We made progress. Great. Okay. This needs to be constant. Although I don't think any of it really needs to be constant anymore now because I'm Not gonna need... Like, this already happens inside of a run, so I don't know if I need to like get more like tricky about the runningness of it. Right? Like, all the things coming into this were already vetted. This thing, I think, can just like do what it wants because it's already being run. We're in like happy times. Oh! I broke it. Okay. What's actually me here? While expanding nested describe, invalid return value from compile time code execution. Can't codes be a literal? Can't spec scope with the 2 be a literal? Does that help? Nope. Does this help? Nope. Does that? Nope. Well, this is kind of rough. This feels like that whole where thing all over again. It's got some rough edges for sure in this compiler. It's just, it's so like, it promises you the world. If only you figure out how to correctly separate out your dynamic and static concerns, then, you know, apparently it can't make a literal out of certain types which are constructed entirely of like static data. Code is like the most literal. So it's string. What could be more literal than a sequence of characters and a chunk of like the code that makes up sequences of characters? Huh. Alright, I think what I want to do here is to punt on... oh, dang. Well... let me like grab all this and say... For each exploration... try some before each business. Mostly fail. Alright, but now I think I want to play with that compiler error because at least I should like report it, yeah? So let's try to do like 0, 5. And what was really the issue that we think it was here? I don't know, like found during before each work. Okay, so what do we think like the minimal thing is to recreate this? It was like, I don't know. And we'll call this like codes is of type codes count code. And let's do like extend some type is gonna take a baked, like a sum type of baked sum, baked t, and a code. That's going to return a sum type of codes count equals t.codes count plus 1. And I'm going to say result is some type. I think I learned I don't need this argument in there. Do that, result dot codes. Right, and so I'll take in some, I don't know, some instance for some instance dot codes. I'll say result dot codes it index gets it, and then result dot codes gets code return result, and then in here, I don't know, let's like build up something. Run extend some type on some type codes count equals 0 dot empty array and that. Will that repro? Missing a semicolon, always. Always missing semicolons. Too many values provided. Hey, cool. Okay, and let's see, like, can I, like, simplify this bug to say, I'll just call this like an array of string. And we'll leave the word code, lowercase code everywhere. And we'll just call this like hello. Does this blow up? Yeah, okay. Okay, so alright, let me also see, like, does this like, is this the same as like the emails that I sent before? Right, return type defined by another procedure. Unsupported syntax. Yeah, so he said this one he's not even going to fix. This is like not right. Type confusion email. I'm passing a polymorphic type argument to a function where I care about the polymorphic values in that type. The compiler crashes instead of as a value. Right, this is not this. Run directive and type is not it either. Right, this isn't it. Because he got rid of, like, you can't do this anymore. That's not allowed. It was too complicated. But there's this, right? This is the problem. Okay. And this I figured out, this was about, I'll just like create a new thing. This had more to do with like int byte sizes than anything else. Didn't report anything. Okay, so this one though is like real cool. Let's call this like words. Let's call this words count. I'll just call it strings. And make sure it still breaks. Yes. Okay, cool. And let me see if this works less statically. Oh yeah, this isn't words, it's strings. Maybe this is cool, because this is like at least demonstrate that it's like possible to make found a variable type of unnamed banana is needed but was not specified. Okay, let's here's what I want to do. Like static sum type instance is gonna be run. Maybe I'll do sum type strings count equals 2 of hello world. Does this much work? Yes, great. And then extended sum type instance gets extend sum type of static and how? Okay. Right, you can't just like run that. That makes sense. So let's put it in a run. There it blows up. Okay. And I think this captures it, right? Because this is clearly a literal. Here we have it even just typed out as a parsed literal. And this much works. And then this much blows up. And let's like make this like a 1 and like a hello. Just to stay classic. Great. Okay. I think we got a bug to report. Cool. Let's report this bug. Alright, so this is what's happening here. It seems like I don't even know how to describe what I think the root of this is. I've got no idea. But maybe I'll say like, I don't know. Cannot create run directives and polymorphic literals. Maybe that's like the intersection that I care about here. Alright, like hi. new compiler error, a new compiler error related to the same, seemingly caused by I don't know, what feels like a new compiler error, seemingly caused by intersection of run directives, of run and polymorphic types. I'm able to create a literal of constant literal of a specific type. But when I try to one in a slightly trickier way through a run, compiler tells me invalid type of return value from this. It tells me the type cannot be converted to a literal. Great, okay. I've attached code to repro the issue and the stack and the compiler output. Alright. Maybe this is like too many exclamation points. Maybe my compulsive self-editing isn't healthy. Great. Great, great, great. Great, great, great. Okay. Switch into my actual email client. Gonna send off that email. Report this bug. Last time I reported bugs, I got fixed like in a few days. Which I'm kind of shocked by. I figured if I were building a programming language, I do not think I would have it in me to fix bug reports that quickly. Okay, language, subject, poly, run directives, and polymorphic literals. Right, grab the email body, paste it in. Cool. Attach some stuff. I need both the J file and the stack trace. Great, great, great. Cool. Sent. But I did. I did tweak the email slightly before I sent it. Let's paste in that actual email that I sent. I don't know why, but this feels like a valuable exercise to me. Okay. Report another bug. What? Oh, dang. Okay. On the wrong branch. Let me make sure that this is all still broken in the correct way. What? Huh? Oh yeah, because I renamed it. Run directives and polymorphic literals. Yes. Okay, well that was almost very embarrassing. I wonder if the output that I shipped had like the yeah had the wrong program name in it, but it still has the same the output is still close enough. All right, I'm on main. Commit. Push this up. And then does this file still exist? No, great, okay. Whew. Okay. Well, this is a no. And these, I'm not sure about. I think, oh. Oh, I got a notification from Twitch, but it was nothing. I think I'm about ready to pause for a bit. This was like a fun exercise. Not a whole lot to show for it. I found a new bug. I ran into some problems that I couldn't couldn't get over in before hooks for JSpec. I bet if I do another lap, it's just tricky to mess with these codes this way. Things seem to be so locked down. I wonder, man, I wonder if I'm like philosophically just like getting something wrong that leads me to like run into these kinds of issues where like I feel like in my explorations with wares, I also encountered stuff where I was trying to do type arithmetic to grow a statically allocated array that was like derived as part of a type. And like I wonder, man, is that just not what this language is about? I thought that's what this language was like exactly for, of being able to say like I I control the memory layout and will sip the memory exactly as needed and can evaluate at constant time to find exactly the slots I need to allocate on memory to fill with args to make things happy here. But man, like, I don't know, like this didn't work where I needed to do some compile time string munging and some compile time addition in deriving the type of a SQL where. I think maybe what I want to do is like go back and reread. I think there was like a demo. There was definitely a demo about matrices where there was like a modify command or like a body that like the body of a procedure was like entirely derived from I lost all thought. Entirely derived from just like a modify, I want to say, where it would like inspect two like input matrix things, which might have different memory layout, because one might have been like a diagonal matrix and the other might have had just other fields filled. And like there's an implementation of like matrix multiply that like returned dynamically like a type of like an interesting bit mask of like which fields were filled, and then just like an array which had just the necessary values stored in memory and the rest of them set to some constant. It was cool. It was pretty cool. I'll go back and rewatch that, see if that gives me any inspiration. Like, I wonder if in order to get behavior like this still, the best way to do it in the language is like not even specify a function body or a return type and just like call it a SQL where and like don't worry about the details and just have this entire thing be like a big modify. and this will like print like the actual program body. I don't know if I'm ready for all that this second though. And also, it's dog time, so I'm gonna go be with my dog for a bit. I'll probably be back on pretty soon though. Bye.